From the Owls Nest BBQ Research and Development Studio in Ottawa, Tennessee, it's time for the Owls Nest BBQ Show with Steve Ray and his vast array of guests from right here in Ottawa and from across the barbecue nation. It's time to light the grill, cook the meat, and then repeat. Now live, it's the Owls Nest BBQ Show with Steve Ray.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Owls Nest BBQ Show. Brought to you tonight by Steve Ray's Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct. When you need tire, service, and gasoline, you need us at Midnight Oil in Ottawa. And don't forget, going on right now, the Michelin Great Rebate Sale going on through the 14th. Buy any set of Michelins on sale, and they'll send you a $70 gift card back. Perfect for this time of the year, Christmas time. We're also brought to you by the complete line of Butcher Barbecue products, rubs, injections, grilling oils, and accessories. Trust your butcher. Make your next cookout epic with products from Butcher Barbecue available locally at Steve Ray's Midnight Oil in Ottawa. Follow us on YouTube. All the previous shows are loaded on YouTube on our YouTube channel, Owls Nest Barbecue. Please follow us there if you would. You can also find the Owls Nest Barbecue Show locked and loaded on Vimeo as well. If you haven't been to Vimeo, go check it out. It's pretty cool. Follow the barbecue adventures of Owls Nest Barbecue on my Facebook page, Steve Ray on Facebook, or the Owls Nest Barbecue page. Like us right now on Facebook. Also, check out some great pictures we post from time to time on Instagram at Ottawa Steve. So we put some pretty good, we put some pretty neat barbecue pictures up there with stuff we cook, and we'll be cooking a little bit before Christmas. Hey, I want to remind everybody, Butcher Barbecue rubs, grilling oils, injections available at the Midnight Oil in Ottawa. Come by, make great presents. We've still got those famous Butcher Barbecue custom-made boxes available for your family. You can pick one up just like the Pelfreys did down the street. 4 of these will fit in the custom-made box, only $69 for the custom-made box, and 4 12-ounce rubs. It's a great deal for the griller or barbecuer in your life. We got a fantastic show lined up for you tonight, everybody. We have got Matt Barber from Florida lined up. Now, Matt is a nationally known barbecue guy. He's appeared on Smoked on the Destination Channel against Jim Elzer. He has been a former Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year, and he'll be joining us in just a few minutes here. And coming up in the second part of the show, about 7:35, we've got local favorite and chef Andi Cagle. Andy will be with us, and in addition to sharing us maybe some secret tips on standing rib roast, because that's one of my favorite things to cook, and a lot of people have said they want to know more about that. She'll be with us and talk about also a new event venue that she and her husband James have put together over in Red Bank. So a great show. Please share us on Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, please share and let everybody know you're watching. And right now we're going to go to the phones, and we're going to hook up with Matt Barber. He'll be coming to us live from Florida. I presume Matt's in Florida. Hello, Matt.
Yes, I am.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good, man. Long time no hear. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
You
having our cold front come through tonight. If it might get in the 40s, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I go stock up on water and bread.
Water and bread. When it gets down, you sound like you're coming from Chattanooga. We're hitting about 30. We're hitting about 32 degrees now. Supposed to get down into the 20s, and supposed to have a wintry mix. this weekend. But it's, I've got a real good friend of mine, Matt. He's down in somewhere down deep into Florida. He's working on a nuclear plant. Is there a nuclear plant somewhere in Florida?
There's a few of them. There's one in Orlando. There's one up around Jacksonville.
Well, he's down there somewhere working on one, and he sent back pictures about how some great Florida venues. And I told him, I said, Florida and Hawaii are the only two states where you can cook barbecue in your shorts 365 days a year.
That's true.
And that's why you
might be a little cold, but you can still do it. I know Dana, Big Papa's Country Kitchen, I don't think he owns a pair of pants. So I think he's always in shorts and sandals.
You can always tell when we're competing against you guys in Florida because you all have on flip-flops. I don't think y'all own a pair. I don't think you own a pair of closed-toe shoes either.
It's really cold if we got to put real shoes on.
Yeah, if you have to put on Nikes instead of flip-flops. Hey, everybody, we're talking with Matt Barber from Hot Wachulas. Matt, I know your competition season's winding down, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too. But we're going to talk a little bit about your Hot Wachula lines of rubs and sauces and things. But let's cap off the Orange Blossom review down in Lake Wales, Florida. I guess was that your last competition of the year?
Yeah, that's our last sanctioned contest of the year. We have another one coming up this weekend, which is just we call it a fun cook. That's our FBA end of the year kind of board meeting. That's when we pass out the team of the year stuff, and so the points. It's not really a points contest, but it's more just for fun and drinking games for the most part.
When you ended off the year pretty good, getting the grand championship at the Orange Blossom Review. It's funny. I love watching the Florida Barbecue Association because Swamp Boys finished second, Ruck Bagby. Sweet Smoke Q finished fifth, Jim Elzer. And, I had those two guys on the 2 prior weeks before today. So so you got Hot Wachula, Matt Barber, Ruck Bagby, and Jim Elzer. The last 3 guests I've had on this show placed 1, 2, and 5 in that contest.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good show karma there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, hopefully I can take the show karma and hold it in my pocket till Naples first week of January.
Well, and of course
I'll cash it in then.
Yeah, our buddy Tim Malloy, who I've never had on the show, he finished 6th.
Yeah, well, he's got the timelines down. I mean, he actually helped me stay on a few of them.
Oh, did you? You had some. You were kind of like down in the gut for a while at the beginning of the year, weren't you?
Yeah, I've had a few issues, but just trying to get back on track. I mean, I'm still hurting. I mean, I even in the last few contests, I haven't been able to cook by myself. So, I'm still probably 50% speed, and I can't pick up anything. But it's slowly getting better. I mean, it's better than the option of where I could be if I wasn't where I am now. So I'll take being above ground.
Absolutely, buddy.
then below it. So I can't.
Everybody here is glad you chose this option too. I assure you.
Yeah.
I never will forget the first time we met. We were met up in down in Calhoun, Georgia, a couple years ago at the Boogie and Blues contest, and you were nice enough to take Dan and myself and show us your RV and showed us your vast array of choices of those A9s or A10 Wagyu briskets that you guys have already cooked. And
those are great.
Man, I tell you what, it was really nice of you to give us the nickel tour of the RV. And you usually do cook by yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I usually do. It's I mean, I've had a lot of great help. Lately I had a lot of great help at the beginning of the year. When I had my first surgeries, and this last time when it had to fix everything else. But I like cooking. Well, not like I like cooking by myself. It's just how it's always pretty much turned out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I've hung around so many teams, and it just depends on the dynamic of the people in it. You know, some teams work great. You know, other teams that, you know, one guy gets upset with the other guy. It's like, man, we would have won if you hadn't screwed up chicken. It's like, well, chicken, you screwed up ribs too. You know?
And that happens. That happens.
Yeah, and it's you know, so I just kind of just went on my own and cooked, and it was kind of a therapy for me. It kind of, you know, the driving, you know, I get all my stupid brain thoughts out of the way on the drive to a contest, and you know, even the contest, it's still a lot more relaxing and less stressful than what I do during the week. So it ends up being kind of a therapeutic type cook-off, and you know, you get to hang out with friends and, you know, have fun Thursday night and have fun Saturday night, and
absolutely,
you know, traveling around, you get to meet, you know, see people you haven't seen in a few months.
Well,
you know, so
meeting new people is the part that I like best of it. You know, at that same contest, we got to hang out with Thomas, Michael Character's sidekick, and all the barbecue, our barbecue pitmaster episodes that Michael was in. And Thomas, what a nice fella. And turns out that he has relatives in our hometown here in Ottawa. And when he comes up to Ottawa, he'll come by the gas station. So it's just kind of neat to have you make new friends, and then you take that friendship, extends into everyday life. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great time. You know, it's there's some friendships that I've developed through this hobby / sport that I mean, they mean a lot to me. I there's some days that's what gets me up. So I love a lot of them. You can't do this without developing friendships. If you don't, you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm with you there. Cooking by yourself takes. I've done contests both ways, by myself, with partners, and with taking my wife and daughter, to help, and it helps with the hardest part, I think, is number one, doing a contest where the ancillary barbecue is mandatory, and you have to worry about turning that in addition to the other 4 proteins. That always make sure I go to the contest organizer and ask them to assign me a runner, and most of them will do that, just to run the food over to the judges, because man, you get so busy. And I know I think in your association, FBA, y'all have a little bit longer between turn-ins, don't you?
We have an hour in between, which is nice.
Yeah, I like that. In KCBS, and you do a lot of KCBS contests too, I know. That half hour when you're by yourself, that that 5 or 10 minutes of turning in that box really does matter. You know it.
Yeah, especially with pork. I mean, pork is just
the hardest box to build.
There's so many different pieces, that you want to feel through, and then it's like, well, and 95% of the time I've run out of time, and I leave one of the things I wanted to put in out, just because I'm like, crap, it's 2 till.
Matt,
I got in the box.
You bring up a good subject. How many times have you had the pork in the box and just said, this isn't going to work, and just pull every bit of it out and try something else? I've done that 2 or 3 different times.
I can't say I've done that. I mean, I've had stuff on the table that I've tried to fix before it goes in, or I've had to empty out a chicken box and put in a step through that I'd forgot. I'm like, it's like, okay, remind me before I do this, pop it with that. I end up just putting it in the box. I'm like, crap, I didn't hit it with any of this. So I'm yanking it all out, and then my alarm's going off. I'm like, oh crap. And then your hands are shaking and you're getting crap everywhere. So
that makes cleanup a lot of fun.
I try to force myself to double check, but I haven't had to empty out a box probably more than once, but I have been unhappy a lot with some of the stuff I put in the box.
I wish I could say that about pork, but I pork, just for some reason, it's always the hardest box to build for me, and my scores are always terrible in pork. And I've had to, I always second guess myself. I wonder, say, if I had left it like it was the first time, would it have scored better?
Yeah.
Well,
it's hard because there's so many different, you got tubes, you've got money, you've got, the ice cream, bacon stuff, whatever you want to call that on the top. And, and you got corn meat, you got the roast part,
and
some of those
judges are looking for all that stuff too, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
especially down here, we turn in pulled tubes and slices, and a lot of teams are adding, just kind of burn-in type chunks to that as well. And, if you've got 15 minutes to part out, 4 butts, I mean, you're going to be busting your ass. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
So that's why my KCBS box is, it's usually just, tubes and slices or slices and pulled. I mean, it's usually just two cuts, but FBA, you're putting pulled and chopped in the bottom, about an inch of it. I mean, you're turning in probably 3 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. So,
absolutely.
But that extra time, gives me the ability to go through.
Hey, Matt, what's your off season schedule? What's it look like? Do you practice a lot, or do you concentrate more on your barbecue business that we'll be talking about in just a few moments? Well, what do you do to get ready for the next season? Because it seems like our seasons last 365 days.
Yeah,
there's not much. Off season.
I've never practiced. I never had a practice cook. It's usually, I can't even think of the last time when I even practiced the category just on its own.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is if you're going to practice cook, you keep it to a competition timeline. If you put your stuff on at night, you put your stuff on at night. You want your stuff ready for the turn-in times. You've got to treat it like a comp, because otherwise it's going to be off. Because if you're just lighting the grill and putting pork butts on, and that's it. That's one thing. But if you're, you got to remember, usually you're going to have a brisket on in there, so your airflow is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be wrapped usually by the time your ribs are going on. So now your airflow is going to be really different. So your times are going to be off if you just focus on one meat and just do a test cook, and you're going to wonder why. Hey, I don't know why my butts ain't done. They're an hour late. It's like, well, because you just added all this other cold crap in your cooker,
right?
And you screwed up your airflow, and of course your times are going to be off. So,
I agree.
So
if you're going to practice, you got to do it just like the contest.
And yeah, I just stick with it at a contest and try and make little tweaks here and there.
Hey, do you do much cooking for just like your neighbors or yourself, your family? Like when you're off during the off season a little bit, do y'all ever get together and just do like your buddies come over and say, hey Matt, can you do one of your butts for us and bring it over and watch a game or something like that?
No, it's usually, hey man, I'm having a party, come on over. And then when I get there, it's like, hey, can you cook this for us?
Yeah.
That's usually how it turns out.
Well, we watch the game out of work.
Yeah.
Our chicken wings is big down there as they are here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, actually, chicken wings are, the flaps are real popular down here.
The flats are.
Yeah, not so much the drummies. If you're going to cook an FBA contest, I wouldn't put drums in the box.
No, I prefer.
I've never been a fan of them.
Yeah, I prefer the flat too. I think they taste better. There's not as much meat, of course, but there's not much.
It's otherwise you're just like you're eating a freaking knuckle sandwich. It's
yeah.
Just,
Hey, one time I was at a contest, a KCBS event up here in Knoxville, and I don't think you were there, but no, you weren't there. And I was walking by a tent real early in the morning. I saw this guy had all these Cornish hens out, and I said, what are you going to do with that? He said, I'm going to turn those in. I said, wow. And I thought, I got to make sure I got his team name and looked on the score sheet at the end of the day. Last.
Well, yeah.
Cornish hen.
I mean,
it's legal. It was legal.
Some of those. It's good to throw some of those out there if you're cooking out in a tent. Just to do some reverse shigonometry is what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
just to throw some people off. Like I used to carry around a bottle of prune juice and beet juice just to what do you do with that? I'm like, oh, nothing. I didn't mean to put that out.
Say, shh, don't tell me.
Or carry a bottle of ranch dressing around. You just never know what people, what stories they'll make up.
Matt, that's just mean because you know how these guys are. I guarantee you, there's somebody that went back to his tent or his trailer and to send his buddy out to Kroger's to get some prune juice. Hey, what are you gonna put it on? I don't know. We're gonna find something.
I don't know.
We're gonna find something to put it on because Matt Barber's putting it on. He won last week. Well, congratulations
right.
on the big win last week. That's just fantastic, and I know you're no stranger to the grand champion sitting up there on the podium. So, all right, let's switch gears now. You've got Hot Wachula's products, and you are the owner, CEO, CFO, president, market analysis, janitor. I know you do it all.
Exactly.
You do it all.
Yep.
How is the Hot Wachula business doing?
Actually, we're doing, really well. It was, the beginning of the year was really tough. I probably missed about 60 days of work this year just from all the medical stuff. But, I've hired a new guy. He's actually pretty much my replacement, in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And he's been working out great. We've been, some of our clients, we manufacture Swamp Boys for rub. So, his sauce is doing really well in public supermarkets, so he's, that's helped us out a lot. And he's doing a really good job with that and promoting it, and it's doing really well. And I really don't see it coming out. I see it actually, becoming a fairly regular permanent item for them, and hopefully, the next 6 months or so they can take it chain wide. So his numbers are doing really well. So that's been great. And, we're working on, I've got some new graphics for my salsas. So I got a press proof last week. So we should have our salsas back up and running. We've got 5 different flavors of salsa, which is actually how I started this business. I kind of fell in backwards to the barbecue side, but I actually started Hot Wachula's as specifically just a gourmet salsa company. So, it's coming out really well. We're working on a presentation for Publix to get our stuff in. So, business is going really well. Of course, my website's god awful, and, we've got a few stores selling our stuff. Mm-hmm. And now that, I'm starting to feel better, especially with the business picking up, and I finally have some good support here in the office, so we can start promoting it a little bit better and getting it out there, and, spend more time on the marketing and selling side of it, since I've got some good help in the manufacturing side.
Now, this is your day job. You are dedicated to barbecue in the competition realm and in the aftermarket and supermarket realm, isn't it?
Yeah. This is it. My background.
You're not an accountant that dilly-dallies in barbecue, are you?
No. That's the. So it doesn't matter what day it is. I smell like some sort of barbecue product. I can't get away from it.
I love it. I love it. You know what I like seeing when I go into the grocery stores? I like seeing all the different the sauces from not only the teams that I compete against, but the smaller market, the mom and pop stores. They're becoming, barbecue, especially sauce, is becoming such a niche market, kind of like craft beer. I know at my place we carry the Butcher Barbecue brand of rubs and sauces, and people like to come in there, and Matt, and when they come in, they like to talk about it. And I've bought rub stuff. I've bought the big guy out in Oklahoma. What's his name? He was the finalist on Pitmasters. He won all the time. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Oklahoma.
The big guy.
Well, there's Travis, but I don't think he's done.
No, not Travis. No, not Travis. The guy that never been beat on Pitmasters. Rob Gray. I've bought his stuff before.
Okay.
And, it's just fun tasting and using all these products. And like I said, it's like a micro brewery of sorts that you guys have come up with in this barbecue sauce and rub community.
You know, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is kind of it's becoming a lot more gourmet, a lot more high end, a lot more, I'm trying to, what is that stupid little buzzword, but you know, it's definitely a lot like the craft beer industry, and, you know, it's starting to pick up, and even with competitions, I know some people say, oh, it's dying down, and, you know, we're starting to see an uptick, pretty good uptick down here in Florida, as far as new contests coming up, and the potentials of some of the contests that are coming up are huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, I'm excited about it. You know, I definitely don't think it's on the downturn. I think, you know, for some reason, a lot of the sanctioning bodies get blamed for barbecue contests failing, when 95 or 99% of it is just the people putting on, or the
it is
the charitable, you know, whether it's for a charity or it's a city-run venue, you know, somebody new gets selected, they don't like barbecue, there goes that contest. But this
you hit the nail on the head. You've got to have the right person heading up that committee that's calling the shots. Yeah. You know, like you say, so, if they're not a barbecue guy, if the last guy's a barbecue guy, and this guy's a kayaker, guess what's coming to the city next year? The Chattanooga, Hamilton County kayak races, and because that's just the way they operate.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot of cool things coming up. You know, and it's, you know, we're actually working on, you know, we're starting the sanctioned backyard contest, you know, specifically to get more people involved in it, and, you know, get more people addicted to this thing we're all addicted to, you know. So,
you know, if more people,
you know, I'm excited about it.
People, when they come in the gas station where I am, and we're talking about barbecue while they're getting their tires put on and stuff like that, you know, they'll ask questions, what's it like? Is it like on TV? And I say, no, it's not really like on, you know, of course, they're always talking about barbecue pit masters, because they, you know, the reruns are just, you know, there's a whole new group of people watching those reruns every time they show them. And I say, you know, I try to tell them what it's like. And I try to tell them, explain to them that when, in KCBS, I've never done an FBA, but I know in KCBS, you know, when 11:30 hits, that's when it kind of starts, when you're getting ready to turn in chicken. And I tell them, I said, you know, the adrenaline rush is no different than when, you know, in high school you ran out on the football field or the baseball diamond or the tennis court, or when you're playing golf and, you know, you're coming up on 18 and you're under par, and you just got to make, you know, you just have to have a par on 18 to shoot even, if you're like a 10 handicapper like me. And you know, that adrenaline rush is why the reason I do it. That's you know, I'm too old to play football, and I'm no good at golf anymore. So that's why I do it, is just the competitive the competition that it offers us.
Yeah. The only adrenaline rush I got from playing sports was the crowd yelling at me to get off the basketball court.
Yeah. I had a football.
What the heck are you doing there?
Man, I had a football coach that told everybody I had deceptive speed. He said I was slower than I looked.
Exactly.
I know you feel.
But there is a little bit of a rush. It's same with awards too. You know, you're sitting there, and you know you can have, you know, 3 really good calls, and you're still there sitting on the edge of the seat when they're calling reserve, and you're like, man, I don't know. Did I come in dead ass last on brisket, or, you know, what was it? Did I finish 11th?
Yeah, you know, the only time I ever that my partner Dan Grease and I ever had that feeling was at that contest we met you at in Calhoun. You finished 5th that contest, and we finished 6th. That's the only top 10 we've ever had. But that was the only time when after they called pork, you know, we looked at each other and we said, we're in this. I mean, you know, it could be us. And there's not a better feeling in the world than just thinking that you could be in this thing.
Yeah. One of my favorite, well, I've had a few good ones, but my first reserve grand championship was probably the most exciting for me because I wasn't keeping track of stuff. I wasn't, hearing people's names called and I was, pretty much clueless. I mean, I'd cooked for a year or so, and it still, I think, took me another year and a half or more to win a grand. But, I had started having people come up and say, hey, you got a shot. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, you've got 3 good calls, and if there's one more category, you might have this thing. I'm like, what? And so then I start freaking out. And then, of course, it was Terry McKay, Get Her Smokes from Okeechobee. He ended up getting a higher brisket call than he ended up winning it, but I ended up getting reserve grand, and that was my very first, and it was crazy.
It's exciting.
And I rewarded myself with a new cooker after that.
I don't blame you. Hey, what
or an additional one, yeah.
If we want to find Matt Barber's Hot Wachula products, tell us how to go about doing that.
I think Barbecue Superstore has it. Whiskey Bent Barbecue has it. I think Kansas City Barbecue Store has it, and I think Fergalicious' new store, KC Grilling, I think they have it as well. So probably the easiest if you want to order online is go through them. If you want to order, cases of stuff, you can call us. Or contact me through Facebook, our Facebook page, or
are y'all working on a website that people can go to?
Yeah, I mean, we have a website. It's just ancient. I've been working on getting it to where we can do credit card processing and shipping stuff. But for the glass bottles, for us to ship that, we're probably going to have to end up doing a plastic bottle version, just so we can mail it out and not have to worry about packing stuff and repacking stuff. And so we are working on that. So I've kind of put that website thing on the back burner, but it's something I want to have ready by the end of January.
Now, man, I'm going to ask a stupid question, but now when you're cooking and you're winning, getting all these grand championships and all these reserves and all these top 5s, you are cooking with your products, correct?
Yeah, I use my own rubs and my own sauces.
Yeah,
I know my own injections. And
people say, what kind of a question is that, Steve? But there's a lot of people that they're in the business and they don't use their stuff, though, aren't there? I mean, they use other people's stuff. But I think it's great when you cook and you're using your stuff exclusively. I think that's great. I think it's a great testimony to your product.
Yeah, and a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's easier for them to use other people's stuff, and it works. I mean, the reason I sell sauces is for people to use it. So I hope they use it. I hope they don't just make their own stuff, but even you can buy a bottle of my stuff and tweak it and put your own little spin on it. That's what a lot of people do as well. And some of the stuff like I do use some commercial other company stuff for my brisket, in part of the steps. And and sometimes it's just easier, until you can, until you either have the time or the desire to create something of your own. Sometimes the injections are a little bit more complex, depending on the phosphates and all that mess, and figuring out the ratios of what to add and all this other stuff, so you don't get spots or you don't have too much of this or too much of that. But I'm just gonna let you guys figure it out. And I'm just going to buy. For me, it was one of my goals to be able to compete, using my rub and my sauce, and it was kind of, it's not really a long story, but how I started in this was I sponsored a team, and they used my stuff for a while, and then they ended up taking Johnny Trigg and Pellet Envy's class, Rod's class, old school versus new school back when it was pellet and stick burner, and so he took the class, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to use your stuff no more. I'm going to use this sauce and this sauce." And I'm like, "Well, then I'm not going to sponsor you anymore."
I'm not going to sponsor you.
He's like, "Well, what do you mean? I need the money to compete." I'm like, "No." It's like, so
you don't get it, pal. That ain't how it works.
Well, I mean, he was a friend of mine too. So I'm like, "Well, we'll do this one last one." We went up to Dillard, Georgia, and I was just selling my sauces, in their spot. And he's like, "All right, you're going to cook chicken this week." I'm like, I've never cooked barbecue chicken at a contest. He's like, you're cooking it. You're going to trim it. You're going to do everything. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm like, all right. And this was back when you didn't have to do hardly any trimming stuff, no blood vein, anything, no skin scraping. And so I did it, and I put my Hawaiian sauce on it, which has a little pineapple, a little soy stuff in it. And I didn't get a top 10 call. It was like 20th out of, 60 teams. And which for me, first time, I was happy with it.
I'd have taken that.
And they didn't get any other calls either. So of course, at the end of the contest, he's like, "Told you that Hawaiian sauce don't taste for shit on chicken." And I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna keep cooking chicken, and I'm gonna start my own team, and I'm gonna kick your ass,
tweak it the way you want.
I don't care how I do as long as I beat you. As long as I'm one spot ahead of you." He's like, "Well, that's kind of rude." I'm like, "I'm just going to prove a point that these sauces work." And sure enough, the next few competitions, he was like, "Well, that's kind of, damn it." I'm like, "Hey man, as long as I beat you, I'm happy. You're not 10th, hit me 12th." And
there's always that one person.
He eventually took my barbecue class 2 years ago.
Hey, Matt, we're going to have to run. I've got Andi Cagle on standby. She's up next.
All right.
But while you're down there in Florida, stay tuned to Facebook and watch Andi. You'll be impressed. She's a super person up here in Chattanooga. We'll be going to her. But thank you so much for your time, Matt, and we'll be talking to you again, okay? Because you're a great guest and a great ambassador to the barbecue nation, and we appreciate that more than anything. You bet, Matt. Thank you very much. And have a good Christmas, Matt Barber from Hot Wachulas down in Florida. He's what a great guest. All right, we're gonna head over here, and we're gonna find our friend Andi Cagle. She's gonna be making her second appearance on the Owls Nest BBQ Show.
Hello.
Hey, Andi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing good.
I know you. I've been watching your Facebook pages, and you and James have just got the neatest thing going now over there in Red Bank. And let's just start off talking about the new venue that you guys have, because it is. I'm going to bring it up on the TV here, on the monitor here, just so everybody can see it. But let's talk about this thing, because it is, from the pictures, it looks just fantastic.
Oh yeah, it is. I think it turned out really well. We wanted to keep it a neutral color, so we could. So people come in and do a venue, they want it to be neutral because they're going to bring all their own decorations and stuff in there anyway. So yeah, I think it worked out good, being gray and white. Yeah,
but when we were talking about it earlier, when I can't remember where we were talking, I think it may have been the chicken wing contest or something. But you developed this thing with people in mind and the cost of doing events. So that's what I really liked about it. It was something that they can afford.
Absolutely. It's so hard whenever you're trying to do an event and the cost of renting a place, when you're talking about $2,000-$4,000, that just gets to be, that's a lot of money just for a space. And I'm not knocking anybody. I know people, people have to charge what they have to charge, but I think it could be a lot less expensive, to have a place to throw a party for your grandparents, or your parents' 50th anniversary, or your grandparents' 90th birthday or something. I don't think it should cost you $2,000 to $4,000 to do that.
No,
we wanted to make it more, more sensible.
You shouldn't. And I'm with you on people have to charge what they need to charge, and I get it, and people can pay whatever they care to pay, but having somewhere that's affordable where you can go to an indoor facility, not have to worry about the weather, where you don't, it's a little bit better than your backyard, let's say, where the caterers can come in and they can bring the stuff that you've chosen, and the flower people can come in and be in a safe environment. To me, that's worth, there's no price you can put on that.
That's true. Very much so. And it turned out really nice. it helps when you have a place that's a little bit more economical, I guess is the right word.
What
and we're really happy because I tell you, it's taken a long time. I've been over there for 3 years, and so it's taken a while to get to the point where we're able to do it. So I'm excited about it.
Now, you started out with Cozy Cooking Catering, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then you went to the restaurant.
Yes, the Cozy Bistro.
Right, and you still got it going, right?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Well, that's okay.
No.
You can't do.
Let me tell you,
you can't do everything.
You can't do everything.
No, you can't.
And when you're trying to put your hand, too many irons in the fire, you can't. Then something suffers.
I'm the king.
And so I went back to doing what I do best, and it's catering.
Right.
And I love it, And when you have to do the everyday grind of being there from, dawn to dusk every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was, my home life was starting to suffer.
Yeah, sure does.
Because it was a little bit too much. And I think the location is probably not the best location for a restaurant, So I tried it. I had people that encouraged me to do it. I did it. And, it was just too tough because we had the days that I had catering events, I would have to close because I just didn't have enough staff for somebody to run that place while I was doing the catering event. It's hard to find good folks too that you can trust. I think
you made the right
do
choice
things your way.
Because I think you have filled a niche in Chattanooga, just from I've looked at different places. You know how I am. I've always got ideas of stuff to do and things I'm trying to put together, thinking this might work, or we might go to another part of town and try this, that, and other. And when you're looking for places that you have to rent, it gets expensive, and a lot of times it's a deal killer on the event that you want to have. Now, in your event, your venue is located. What's the address?
It's 739 Ashland Terrace. It's in Suite 201 and 202.
Right.
Now I'm downstairs. I'm in Suite 108. That's where my professional kitchen is.
Right.
So it's in the same building, which is wonderful. It's nice being in the same building, so I don't have to, you're not lugging stuff all over town, which I do that too. But it's nice being in the same location. I think
though that if you can offer catering, and then they say, well, we need a place. They say, I've got that place. It's right upstairs. And how many people?
Yep.
How many people will the new the Cagle venue, for lack of a better word? How many will it hold?
It holds 100. 100 is our max.
That's pretty,
comfortably.
That's pretty good though. That's pretty good. So you can offer your catering services to someone, and then in return, you can also say, and if you need a place, I've got that place. And Ashland Terrace it's in the middle of everywhere. I mean, there's nowhere in Chattanooga you can't get to Ashland Terrace in about the same amount of time.
Exactly.
From Ooltewah, from Lookout Valley, it's about the same. North Chattanooga, it's easy to get to. Red Bank's super easy. Hickston, you're right there. So I think if as they draw that big circle like people do, I think you being right there in the middle of it will be a definite advantage to what you're trying to do.
Absolutely, I agree.
Now
it's been a good location for us for the last 3 years.
And I'm assuming you've rented it already sometime.
I have. I've got people coming to look at it, for events even for next year. So, which is good. I'm pretty excited about that too, because the convenience of it is what's even better.
Absolutely. Now, what is the number that people can call if they're interested in looking at this, for their birthday party, for their parents' wedding anniversary, for a wedding even, or a baby shower, whatever? We just did a reception there 2 weeks ago. A wedding reception there. That was our first wedding reception in our new place. The number is, of course, area code 423-498-5333, and that is to Cozy Cooking. And you just, if we're not there, we're there from 10 to 4 Monday through Friday, and 10 to 3 on Saturdays. But I mean, by appointment, that if you want to come see it after work, I live 10 minutes from there, so even 5, 6, 7 o'clock, I can still show it. So it's no big deal. Not hard to do that. So if they call that number, it's
498-5333. And
498-5333.
498-5333.
I think what you've got is going to be a winner. I cannot see a reasonably priced venue like that not being utilized by folks. I could see, office Christmas parties there.
We got a few of those scheduled.
Yeah. So, and the size is just perfect, because I guarantee you there's more, 30 to 70 people receptions and events than there are 200 to 400 people events in Chattanooga.
Absolutely. And you're right about that, because even I go all over town doing that same amount, under 100 all the time.
Yeah.
So absolutely. There's more of a use for that size of people, amount of people.
All right, Andy, we're gonna shift gears a little bit, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Christmas prime rib. I know you do them. Walk everybody. There's several people watching and listening right now. Walk us through the Andi Cagle recipe for a standing rib roast for Christmas.
Okay, we did this one time with my family, and I'm trying to remember exactly. My dad was my inspiration for cooking from being little growing up, and
real quick, tell them
garlic.
Tell them how you grew up real quick first.
My dad was a cook in the Army, and when he got in the military, he was a police officer. Then after that, he was an electrician. But in the meantime, he always had a love for cooking after he cooked in the military. And so we had a restaurant called Joe's Barbecue in Huntsville, Alabama, on Sparkman Drive.
Yep.
And I grew up in that restaurant, and
folks,
it was very successful.
all the great ones come from barbecue. That was my point.
I'm telling you.
That's all the great ones come from barbecue.
Right there.
I'm telling you, they do. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but my dad could cook everything, so that's kind of how that all came to be. But I remember the secret to a standing rib roast, prime rib, is garlic. I'm talking fresh garlic. You pretty much, on that raw meat, you poke holes in it and put little slivers of garlic down in it.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the flavor that you get from that is just crazy. It's really yummy.
And
garlic, for me, with a lot of stuff, is fantastic. So
what about
that's how I started.
What kind of seasonings are you putting on the outside of it?
Well, I like to do fresh herbs. I do thyme, rosemary. You have to put a lot of kosher salt on the outside of that roast.
Does that get that crusty?
Does
that get that crusty thing on it?
Absolutely, you get that crust on it, which is it's that, and I do fresh ground pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a beautiful crust, and I use it. I do make a kind of like a garlic paste with salt, pepper, and fresh garlic, which you mince it down really fine. You use the back of your knife and spread it, and then I just take all of that and slather it all over it, and also cook it on top of garlic and onions.
Now, do you cook it? Do you cook it flat on a pan, or do you elevate it a little bit in one of those V-shaped?
I elevate it.
Mm-hmm.
I elevate it. Actually, I used to do it flat on the. I decided to start elevating it with whole cloves of garlic. So I just take a big, huge thing of whole garlic head, split it in half, and then put onions around it and sit the roast right on top of it.
Oh, okay.
In kind of a shallow pan, no more than like a big, maybe 3 to 4 inch roasting pan, on a rack. Because all the wonderful juices are going to run down, and then you're going to use that as your juice.
Right.
Your au jus, and you probably go ahead. I'm listening.
What temperature and how long?
Well, I usually cook it. I do about 450 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes to start, because you want to get that nice crust on the outside, and then you're going to cook it, depending on the size. It could be 8-9 pounds. I think 15, 16 minutes per pound. So that's another hour and a half, 2 hours. Cook it at 350 degrees, or maybe 325.
So crank it up first
for another 2 hours.
Crank it up, then bring it down.
Depending on the size of the roast. Oh yeah, you crank it up to get that crust on the outside, and then you bring the temperature down so it can slow roast.
And then you cook it. What temperature are you cooking yours to?
I cook it to about, I want it medium rare, so I cook it to about 125 internal temperature. And when I take it out, it's going to have a little carryover cooking.
Yeah.
So that's going to bring it up to about, under 130.
All right. What are we putting on the side of this thing?
Oh my gosh.
On the sides. What's Andi Cagle's sides for Christmas?
Oh my goodness. I love sweet potatoes. That's one of my favorite things. But I also love parsnips and carrots, onions, and of course any type of potato. But I love to make roasted potatoes with that standing rib roast.
Do you think
wonderful?
Is asparagus spears? Is that okay for Christmas? You think?
Absolutely.
I like asparagus.
The simpler, the better. I like to just cut about 1.5 inches off the bottom of them.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkle and put them on a flat pan,
yeah.
Sprinkle them with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and that's about all you need.
Man,
roast them till they're just tender. They're delicious.
Sounds like you just completed the Ray family Christmas Eve dinner, Andi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what you do every year?
I love to do. That's probably, other than doing regular barbecue, pork butts and brisket and brisket.
Mm-hmm.
Brisket's my favorite. I love doing those standing rib roasts. I love everything about them. I just think they taste so
delicious.
good. I'd rather eat a steak than anything, and I just think that they taste so good. And and I think that, and I like the way that you can also heat them up too, and they still taste good the next day. A lot of times a steak, after you refrigerate it, just I don't know, it just loses.
It loses something. Yeah.
But if for
and
some
even
reason,
besides that, I always start with my actually I don't room temperature. So I'll take it out and let it sit out before. I don't like to put a cold piece of meat in the oven ever. So let it sit out and get to room temperature, and for some reason it seems like it does better.
Well, it sounds
that might
great.
be a wives' tale, but I think it does. It seems like it does better that way.
All right, Andi Cagle from Cozy Kitchen over in Red Bank. She also Cozy Cooking. I'm sorry, she has her own.
You're fine.
She has her own event venue now. It's on Appleton Pike. That's over here in Ottawa. Ashland Terrace, from Hickson to Red Bank, for all you new people in Chattanooga. And folks, if you're looking for a grand caterer who can do anything from those little finger sandwiches to barbecue to a fine dining experience, Andi Cagle, she is the person you want to contact. Andi, what's your phone number?
It is area code 423-498-5333.
That sounds good. All right.
Call me.
All right, we're gonna do something before you leave. Now we're gonna do a lightning round, okay? Are you ready?
Okay.
Favorite chef?
I think.
Favorite chef?
Favorite chef, like famous chef?
Your favorite chef?
Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
Gordon Ramsay.
You're catching on. Favorite food to make?
Oh, pork tenderloin.
Favorite food to eat?
Pasta.
Favorite knife?
Oh, my what do you call it? Gosh, lightning round. My goodness, just a basic French chef knife.
All right,
that's my favorite knife.
And the worst thing you ever had to eat?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
don't you say my barbecue?
Chitlins.
Don't you say my barbecue either? Chitlins.
No, your barbecue is great. Chitlins.
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 I was at
They smell bad.
We went to I think it's Jim and Nick's, or Nick and Jim's barbecue place a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, just to try it out. And you know what? I had never had collard greens in my life. And for some reason I sat down and I said, I want barbecue, and I want I forgot what else I got. I think I got apples, and I said, and I want collard greens. And the waitress brought them. I loved them. There isn't anything about collard green I don't like. The first time I'd ever had, I can't remember. I've gone through my whole life and never had a collard green. I just loved them. So that's my.
They're good. I'm telling you. That's my
great.
favorite green, actually.
Yeah, it's my favorite too now, and I'm gonna learn how to make those, because Man, they're good, and it's so much better than eating mashed potatoes or French fries. And
oh yeah.
And apparently this Jim and Nick's place, they're good at making it, because several people said, "Oh yeah, we had them there," and they're really good.
Really wonderful. I'm going to send you a recipe. I'm going to text it to you.
All right, sounds good.
Real simple collard green recipe.
Andi Cagle, thank you so much. You have a great Christmas. If I don't talk to you before then, and we'll be in touch with you. We'll have you back on after the first of the year. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Andi, very much. Andi Cagle, everybody, from Chattanooga, a World Food Champion finalist too. Andi Cagle a couple years ago, and a World Food Championship competitor. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Matt Barber, thank you so much for being with us. Andi Cagle, thank you so much for being with us. And I'm going to part on these words, and I just want to say this one thing, and I'm going to leave you with this note. Why do we all love to barbecue, to grill, and to cook over a live fire? And we ask that question all the time, and I'm going to tell you why. Because no one ever said, "Why don't you come on over to the house Saturday and we'll sous vide?" You never heard that, did you? Until next Wednesday here on the Owls Nest BBQ Show. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody.